Hey! It's been a while since I posted a video, hasn't it? Oh well, I'm back for now. Instead of doing an individual February or March ranking, I decided, why the hell not? Just put them together in one video. Probably because I didn't see a lot of movies in February, but I did see a lot of stuff in March. Before we get started, I want to state a couple things. First, I have not seen every movie that came out in February and March, such as Magic Mike's Last Dance, 80 for Brady, because I don't give a shit about football, I'm not a middle-aged soccer mom who demands to speak to the manager, Children of the Corn, or Moving On. Second, I have done more in-depth reviews on some of these movies on the Cool Kids, so if you're curious, I'll link those reviews in the description below. And finally, as always, everything I say in this video is just my opinion, so let me know your rankings in the comments below. Alright, that's enough rambling. We have 14 movies to talk about, so let's just get started. I knew Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey wasn't going to be good, but I was hoping for something that was so bad it's good, but instead, this movie even failed at that. I cannot think of any positives for the life of me outside of the fact that it's short, but that's not really a good thing, so let's just jump into it. The acting from everyone is terrible, the characters are bland, interchangeable, and stupid, the kills are lame, the effects are horrible, there's too much shaky cam, the editing is too choppy, the dubbing is bad, and it does nothing at all with its premise. If you take out Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and just make this another generic slasher movie, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. This feels like something that was made for Tubi and it was just thrown in theaters. I know there's going to be sequels and spin-offs to this, such as a Bambi and a Peter Pan horror movie, but I really don't care anymore. Congratulations to whoever directed this shit. Your shitty franchise just earned itself a spot in the movie Graveyard. If you skip this shit, you're doing yourself a favor. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up making the top of my worst of the year list. Rating, 0 out of 5.
Transporting 35 passengers.
The trailers for 65 looked interesting, and I was looking forward to seeing Adam Driver in another original film. I thought to myself, we got 3 shitty Jurassic World movies. It can't be any worse than those, right?
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
I described Blood and Honey as a straight-to-Tubi movie that was dubbed in the theaters. This looks like something you'd see on the Sci-Fi Channel. It has ugly, unfinished, cheap-looking CGI you'd find on a royalty-free website, a brain-dead and predictable script, horrible pacing for a movie that's an hour and a half, and extremely dull characters. Not even a good performance by Adam Driver and a few laughs could save this trash. Don't watch it. I'd say more, but I pretty much forgot half of this movie. Rating, 1 out of 5.
Your Honor, we talking
I had no intention of watching Champions after cringing at those trailers. However, I attended one of Regal's Monday Mystery movies, and unfortunately, this had to be the fucking movie that played. I didn't walk out because I said to myself, if I can survive garbage like The Munsters, Veronica, Skinamarink, or a fucking Serbian film, I can survive a dumb Farley Brothers movie. The biggest positive I can say is all the actors do a great job, and that's it. Imagine every single generic sports movie, but with disabled people. It hits all the tropes mixed with the usual cringe you'd see from the Farley Brothers. This movie is beyond offensive to special needs people. It's masquerading as being heartwarming and sweet, but in reality, it's just using these people as jokes. Especially when they keep mentioning the R word. I know I sound like Phil Collins from South Park, but I found this movie to be insufferable, boring, cliche, and offensive. Rating, 1 out of 5.
I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want.
Ah, yes. Spy Kids meet Shark Boy and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I had a feeling Black Panther Wakanda Forever was going to be a one-off. That was the one they were actually going to try this time before we returned to Marvel's usual bullshit, and I was right. The acting is solid, especially from Jonathan Majors. There's some fun action scenes and some interesting settings, but that's it. Ant-Man 3 suffers from the 2 big issues that the MCU relies on like a crutch. The over-reliance on the fake-looking and shitty CGI, and the annoying humor that kills the mood. Not once did I laugh at any of the moments that were supposed to be funny. It's not as horrible as the humor in She-Hulk, Spider-Man Homecoming, or Thor Love and Thunder, but it's still pretty insufferable. In fact, the only time I laughed in this movie was when I saw MODOK's face and thinking he looked like the mutant offspring of Humpty Dumpty and Mr. Electric from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I know everything, and you know nothing.
Also, the twist of Yellow Jacket being MODOK is fucking stupid as an example of Marvel changing things just for the sake of changing things. Cassie is annoying and stupid, the pacing is too quick because they enter the quantum realm with no build-up, and the climax of the movie is boring. Good old Marvel fatigue, am I right? Rating, 1.5 out of 5, mainly for Jonathan Majors' performance.
A bear? It was far!
The idea of a bear being hot up on cocaine was absolutely hilarious. So naturally, I couldn't wait to see it, and what did I think? I thought it was just okay. Unlike Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I like how this movie is self-aware and knows its premise is ridiculous. Whenever the bear was on screen wreaking havoc, such as the ambulance chase, I was having a good time. The acting is solid, there's plenty of funny moments, and the third act at the waterfall was a blast. However, what prevents me from loving Cocaine Bear are the pacing issues, and although the movie is very self-aware, the tone at times is very inconsistent. It has the same issue that some other monster movies suffer from, where there's too many humans and not enough monster. The movie stops a lot to attempt character development, but it feels more like filler because these characters are pretty flat. But like I said, the movie is harmless and okay, and I'd say it's worthy of a rent. Rating, 3 out of 5.
It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Coming from somebody who enjoys all the Scream movies, I wasn't expecting much from Screevy? Am I supposed to call it Scream 6 because it looks more like Screevy? Fuck it. I'm just gonna call it Screevy. I was expecting it to be super unnecessary and filler galore like Halloween Kills. However, after seeing it, I'm glad I had a fun time with this one. I liked the New York setting, the chemistry between the core four, the kills, the humor, and how brutal Ghostface was in this movie. If I had any issues, I would say the killer's motive, I'm not gonna spoil who they are, is just Mrs. Loomis's motive from Scream 2. So it wasn't really anything special, although it's not as dumb as the killer's motive in Scream 5. Sam being Billy Loomis's daughter still makes no sense. There's some predictable moments, and Gail Weathers is still a bitch and she can't fucking die for some reason. Seriously, please kill her. But overall, I still had a fun time and I'd recommend giving this a watch. Rating, 3.5 out of 5.
But you have to stay here in the cabin with us.
M. Night Shyamalan movies are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes he'll give you a great film like The Sixth Sense or Split, or he'll give you terrible movies like The Happening or The Last Airbender. I didn't know if I was gonna get good Shyamalan or unintentionally funny Shyamalan, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well done this movie was. For one, I really liked the characters and their performances. Eric, Andrew, and Wen had an amazing dynamic together and felt like a real family. I cared about them and I loved the scenes of them bonding. The actors who play the four intruders do a great job as well, especially Dave Bautista, who was absolutely incredible in this, and I hope to see him in more serious roles in the future. I also think it's smart that these people aren't really villains. They're just brought together and are scared. It's well paced, well shot, has a predictable but still clever twist, and has a tense, unsettling tone that never lets up. However, the movie still isn't perfect. Shyamalan's weaknesses still pop up, such as the stilted, on-the-nose dialogue that creeps in at points. It feels very preachy, and the ending played a little too safe. While I can't say this is my favorite Shyamalan movie, because that's still The Sixth Sense, I can still say it's one of his more enjoyable ones. Who knows if we'll make another good movie, or we'll just go back to the Shyamalan slump. Rating, 3.5 out of 5.
It's all about
Family!
This movie left me very confused. Why are people so mixed about it? I like Shazam! Fury of the Gods just as much as the first movie. It's a lot of fun, the character dynamics are great, and the acting is very good with Jack Dylan Grazer being the standout. Zachary Levi still proves why he's a good pick to play Captain Marvel, and yes, I'm gonna call him Captain Marvel, not Shazam! While the villains aren't as good as Dr. Sivana, I still thought the Daughters of Atlas were fun antagonists and it was funny as hell. And while she was a last-minute plot device, it was great to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman again, and I'm really gonna miss her. Yes, the CGI isn't very good and there's some predictable moments. The Marvel family is a little too reckless at points, but that still didn't stop me from liking the movie. Rating, 4 out of 5.
I played for 5 minutes.
I'm not a gamer by any means, so I don't know much about Tetris, but I thought this was another well-done movie. It could have been a lot better, but the really slow pacing kind of prevented it from being great. Besides that, the acting is fantastic, I like the Cold War setting, the script is well written, and I dug the editing and transitions in this movie. It isn't something like Hulk 2003 where there's a bunch of weird transitions that don't fit the tone at all. The 8-bit transitions fit the story extremely well. Rating, 4 out of 5.
Hey, my man, can I help you?
Let me get an autograph.
I think the first Creed is a great movie. Creed 2, while not as great as the first one, is still good, so I didn't know what to expect from Creed 3. And after seeing it, I thought it was good. It's not better than the first movie, but I can say it's better than the second one. Michael B. Jordan impressed the hell out of me with his directorial debut. He knows how to get some excellent shots and performances out of his actors, especially Jonathan Major, who is fantastic, and it feels good seeing him in a good movie after his great performance was wasted in Ant-Man 3. I enjoyed Creed's arc and enjoyed the moments with his family, especially with his daughter. There's a lot of hilarious and touching moments between the characters. The boxing scenes especially are well shot, and I like the anime influences in the fights, especially during the big fight with Creed and Damien, which was very intense and had me on the edge of my seat. I do miss Rocky, and the second half does get pretty generic in spots. There's some noticeable CGI and green screen during the last fight, and the last one's a nitpick, but the rap music got annoying after a while. This is another solid entry in the Creed series, and if this was the last movie, I'd say this series ended on a good note. I hope Michael B. Jordan gets the opportunity to direct more movies, and it felt great seeing a good sports movie after Regal tricked me and made me sit through Champions. Rating, 4 out of 5.
You a blessing. For your mom especially.
I heard a lot of great things about 1001, so I decided to give it a shot, and yeah, it was very good. I can't call it amazing because there's some editing issues in the first half of the movie. Like, there were scenes that looked like they were put out of order or were just missing. But acting all around is spectacular, the story is very heartwarming and sweet, the family dynamic is strong, it has a lot of heart, and I really love the moments between the mother, the son, and the stepfather. Rating, 4 out of 5. I remember seeing the trailers for Inside and reading the premise, and I was instantly intrigued. Unfortunately, it wasn't coming to my Regal, so I had to go to an AMC that was a half hour away from me. And after seeing it, I can say it was worth it. Willem Dafoe is fantastic as always. He knows how to pull off a person going insane very well if you've seen The Lighthouse. Even though he's a thief, I felt so sorry for him and I wanted him to get out okay. I also love the idea of being trapped in a nice high-tech luxury home and not being able to use any of its utilities. It shows sometimes the nicest of places can be a cage or a prison. It's extremely well shot, and I love the use of visuals to show him going insane instead of having them tell us he's going insane. I have some nitpicks for the movie. For one, the pacing was very slow, and I wonder if that was intentional to make us feel like we were trapped with him. And then you have the gross out scenes. Like, seriously, I could have gone the rest of my life without seeing Willem Dafoe shit. But still, this is an impressive directorial debut. It's a damn great psychological thriller that is elevated and couldn't have worked as well without Willem Dafoe's excellent performance. Rating, 4.5 out of 5.
Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge.
I had the opportunity to see Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves early. I was expecting very little from it, and this is coming from someone who's played Dungeons & Dragons in the past, and I was blown away. This was such a blast to watch from start to finish. The acting is great, the characters are all memorable, badass, and likable, they have excellent chemistry with one another. The CGI and creature designs are really good and look like something straight from the D&D creature guides. The action scenes are a ton of fun, the humor hits, and unlike the MCU, the quips were actually funny. Do I have any real issues with this movie? Not really. I had an awesome time with Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, and this is something everyone should see, and I will absolutely get this on 4K when it comes out. I don't care what people say, I am absolutely giving this a 5 out of 5.
You're going to die. Maybe not.
Coming from someone who is a fan of all the John Wick movies, I can easily say Chapter 4 is my favorite. This is another movie where I can't really think of any negatives. The acting is all around spectacular, especially from Keanu Reeves, Shamir Anderson, Donnie Yen, Lawrence Fishburne, Scott Adkins, Winston Scott, and the standout performance of the movie is easily Bill Skarsgård. God, what a great villain. Action scenes are spectacular. The third act is easily the best part of the movie because it homages one of my favorite movies of all time, The Warriors. Everyone gets their own badass moments to shine. The soundtrack is great. The ending is bittersweet and satisfying. And for a nearly 3-hour movie, not once did I feel the runtime. I always say a movie can be long but not boring, and John Wick 4 is a great example. This is a perfect action movie in my opinion. The more I think about it, the more I love it. Rating, 5 out of 5. Subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the Cool Kids Movie Reviews. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.